When you get someone like our former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, I mean, I know you were familiar with him from your time in the White House, saying that Trump's tariff war is stupid. Donald Trump firing back that Malcolm Turnbull was weak and Australian voters had seen through him. And now Malcolm Turnbull being blamed for potentially costing Australia an exemption from the steel and aluminium tariffs about to be put in. What do you make of all that?
I don't want to make light of what's going on in Ukraine, but I would have thought that somebody like the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, would have seen how Zelensky acted and said, maybe I'm not in the best place to take a shot at Trump. It doesn't usually turn out well, is how I would put it.
But should it matter whether a private citizen, even though it was a former Prime Minister, opens his mouth about Donald Trump? Should that matter in the negotiations? I mean, surely Donald Trump does what's in America's interest, regardless of what a former Prime Minister says.
Oh, right. Yeah. When it comes to actually like the aluminum tariffs or something, I don't think that a former Prime Minister is going to have a huge influence. As you can imagine, this stuff happens all the time in the U.S. as well, when a member of one party says something and the party leaders have to go make it clear that they're not speaking on behalf of that party or that they're just a one-off gadfly kind of member of Congress. So it's, again, I don't think that he has the right to speak freely as he wishes, but I would assume that the current Prime Minister doesn't find it helpful.
Sean, I wonder whether you share my concerns. I know I'm probably stronger on this, but Donald Trump has said, well, Ukraine's got no cards, and so it's got to accept a peace deal that he wants to negotiate with Russia. One reason Ukraine doesn't have any cards is that Donald Trump took them away. He's taken away US exports of arms, he's taken away US intelligence that would help them protect themselves from Russian missiles and also target Russian attacks. He's taken away the cards, has made Ukraine defenseless, and now you've got this negotiation with Saudi Arabia. Does any of that, considering that Ukraine is a free country, concern you as someone who is from the land of the free, a country that has fought for democracy around the world?
Yeah, a couple things on this, Andrew. One, I think you and I probably share the same goal, which is an end to the war, an end to the killing, an end to the destruction. The other problem I have is, with all due respect, the way you frame this, right? Ukraine's cards, and then you said U.S. intelligence, U.S. arms. Those would seem to be our cards that we're lending Ukraine. And so we do have a say over their cards because it's our intelligence, it's our weaponry, it's our funding. And so at some point, Donald Trump has said to Zelensky and others, I want to get to the peace table. I want to get to the negotiating table. And if you're going to use our arms and our intelligence, then you have to show a willingness to want to achieve that goal. And it's clear that there's a frustration. And I understand it. I understand where Zelensky's coming from, frankly. It's his people that have been killed in his country that's been devastated. But right now, the only single person in the entire world that can enact a lasting peace is Donald Trump. And he's trying to make that clear. It's not a pretty situation. I will give you that. It's not. It's a difficult thing to negotiate, to get everyone to the table. There is a ton of well-deserved hatred from Zelensky towards Putin, and I understand why. But at some point, you have to shake somebody and say, I get it. You hate them with every fiber of your being for a good reason. They're horrible people, but we need to get to the table to negotiate an end, or the killing and the destruction will continue. And as somebody who has the cards, us, we have a right to help make that happen.
I get that too, Sean, except what it seems to me is there's a danger between imposing a peace on Ukraine and imposing a surrender.
Let's see where this shakes out. But Andrew, for almost 4 years, we heard nothing. The Biden administration did zero, absolutely nothing. In fact, quite the opposite. They may have shipped them things, but it wasn't the things that they asked for at the time that they wanted them. We wanted the talking point of saying that we were giving them arms and supplies, but we didn't give them what they wanted.
You're absolutely correct. Biden gave too little, too late. And as for the Europeans, enough said about how pathetically weak they are. Sean Spicer, as you say, we shall ultimately have to judge by the results rather than the process, I guess. Thank you so much for your time.
As always, sir.